Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome to an updated video on my settings for Fortnite Battle Royale. I'm making another updated video because, well, I guess for a couple of reasons. There's been some huge updates in the game. They've actually added, since I made my original controller setup video, they've added a completely new controller scheme called Builder Pro. I've actually changed my sensitivity, and there's been a few other tweaks to the game. So I figured it was about time to make a new updated settings video. So just to get the basics out of the way, going into my settings, obviously running NA East, but I run controller 6X and 6Y. I've bumped that from what it previously was as a 5 and a 5, which a lot of people thought was pretty slow, but I personally like it because it allows me to tweak out my AR game. Like, I'm able to kind of aim, I'll say, steadier at range in comparison to people who use a higher sensitivity. Not to say that you can't run a really high sensitivity and also have dank, nasty AR game at range, but I just find it way easier if I run a lower sensitivity for that. And then I'm running a 6.6 to kind of just speed up my ability to kind of do quick builds. Now, often what you'll see me doing in gunfights is this. If I'm faced up with a guy, say he's at that tree right there, I'll actually do this. I'll just build a straight 2-wall structure, and I'll jump and throw a floor down with a ramp on top of it. That's kind of my go-to build for if I'm in a 1x1 build fight. This is kind of what I like to do. So you can get pretty quick at doing this. Once you get the toggle down of flicking between your floor and your ramp, you can kind of get that build speed up, keep stacking higher, and what that allows you to do is if you can do that faster than the other guy sitting in the 1x1 over there, now you can shoot down on top of him. Height is key in this game, and it's all about developing that height advantage on the other player. When you're above a guy, it's so much easier to just shoot down, and because you're shooting down on top of them, hitting a headshot is much more likely. You'll also notice that I'm still running standard, which means that I toggle through basically everything on triangle. And I cannot go backwards. I've done this for a reason. I don't like Builder Pro, and I'll get more into that in a minute. But I much prefer to be running standard as opposed to Combat Pro for, I guess, 2 reasons. One, as opposed to using R3 to crouch. For whatever reason, I hate using R3 as my crouch button. It sucks, dude. I just find it's a weird input to use. It's kind of hard to describe. I just find that when I use R3, it feels like there's almost a slight delay to crouching. Plus, I don't really like using my thumb, which I'm also using to aim at people, for also doing any kind of input. I know some people switch their binds around so that they actually jump on R3. I can never really get into that. I just don't really like using an R3 to jump. It's just, I don't know. It's just not what I like, man. I don't dig it. But again, it's totally up to you. I should emphasize that the whole idea of having your own settings, your own sensitivity, is to tweak it to exactly how you want it. I also run, I'll just get further into my settings here. I also actually run streamer mode off because sometimes I find it fun to get stream sniped. Let me just get in. I keep aim assist on. Don't turn your aim assist off. It's just not a good idea. It would be different if there was aim assist free lobbies, but there's not. Literally everybody's running around with aim assist. So by turning your aim assist off, you're crippling yourself against people who are running the aim assist, essentially. I also have reset building choice on. Again, that's kind of just personal preference. I just like to have it so that whenever I hit circle, I know there's a wall in front of me. So that's why I have reset building choice. I have turbo building on, although I will say that even though I run it on, I also have controller auto run off, I will say, before I get into and vibration off. But I've run turbo building on just to kind of make it easier to do these spinning 1x1s. And just to make it easier on me. Oh, I just completely flunked that one. But I have it set to do that so I can do that basically just a little bit easier. That way I don't have to be spamming R2. But what I will say is turbo building is a little bit funky. Sometimes it doesn't always lay a wall out. So if I'm ever in an active engagement and there's a guy shooting at me, I tap every single wall. I'm constantly spamming R2. Because I find that if I don't spam the R2 and I just kind of I try to just rely on the turbo building, The walls won't really be going out in time. I'll be eating a lot more shots through walls. I would recommend keeping the turbo building on, but make sure that you consciously spam R2 when you need to get those initial walls out when somebody is pushing you and gunning you down. Because if you don't have it on, I just feel like you eat way too many shots. Turbo building is a great mechanic they've added to the game, but I still think it needs a little bit of work before it's really like a solid mechanic in the game. Let me see if I can kill this dude real quick. Sod it. I realize I've been kind of blowing my mats during this tutorial video here. So here's a mistake he's making right now. He is just going to build a 1x1 rather than actually playing the engagement. You gotta play the engagement first rather than just spinning your builds. Sod it. Alright, that went pretty well. Okay, and the last thing I wanted to get into in this video is why I don't run Combat Pro. That's a question I get a lot. There's a blue tack. There we go. Take that. Thank you, dude. But the reason I don't run Combat Pro, or not Combat Pro, sorry, Builder Pro, is I just find it doesn't fit my style of building. So before I get any further into it, I'll kind of talk about the strengths of Builder Pro. With regards to double ramp rushing, this is actually a pretty good example. I got dropped there because I didn't do this. I wasn't laying walls on every single ramp. As you can see from that, that's kind of clunky to do when you're not running Builder Pro because you can't just insta-swap. Man, this guy's loaded up with shields. But you can't really lay them at the same speed or even close to the same speed you can with Builder Pro. Because you can have turbo building on and bind your ramps to L2 and bind your walls to R2. Oops. You can just... essentially, that's the biggest strength of Builder Pro is that you can just lay down those double wall, double ramp pushes so easily, man. It's absurd. It's absurdly easy. However... that's only the entry to the build fight. Once you're actually involved in the build fight, I find a lot of the other things about Builder Pro slow me down. Specifically, as I was talking about earlier, this. I can do this so much faster on standard, or really you can do this on Combat Pro. But I can do that so much faster on one of those setups because you can hit the buttons in tandem. You can hit, basically... oh, I might slow this down. So you can kind of be like getting a little bit of a rhythm as you swap between your wall and your ramp, or sorry, your floor and your ramp. You can kind of like do a little bit of a dooflicky pop almost as you're jumping. You can get those out. But with Builder Pro, because there's a bit of a lag on turbo build, which is what I was talking about earlier, even though you can press and hold the button, it just doesn't flow nearly as well for me as it does on Standard or Combat Pro. The one thing I will say now, kind of as like as a final point for playing on Standard, is that hitting R1 in combat mode does nothing. Look at this. This is a pointless bind and a very... oh, I'm picking up even though my controller camera's there. It's a very easy bind to hit mid-gunfight. Epic, please make this flick backwards in my item inventory. I don't really want a button to go backwards in builds because I'm always... that's the one main reason I didn't run Combat Pro anyways. Is because I always found myself only switching forward. I never really switched backwards on the build menu. So to me, running Combat Pro and removing my ability to crouch on L1 was pretty much pointless. Whoops. And I'm getting some mad hitching right now. Hello? Saw it. I went Willish. I guess we gotta finish this game out now, eh? But yeah, as I was saying, I never really would be toggling backwards on Combat Pro. So to me, taking away the use of my L1 as a crouch button did not pay dividends for me, I'll say. I just didn't really like it. Sod it. Sod it. Man, I'm about to win this game, dude. I just wanted to make a settings video, man. What do you mean? But there's that flow that I talked about. I cannot do that. I cannot emulate that on Combat or on Builder Pro. What do you mean? Alright. I was a little bit messy, but I'll take it. So yeah, I think that's all the points I wanted to cover with regards to my settings. But I might as well play this game out now, eh? Ooh, that tag. Sup, dude? Man, NoobTube, easily the best weapon in the game, man. It's so strong. Backboard! This guy's got a 9,000 IQ right now. Sup, baby? Alright, well that was a out of nowhere 20 bot or 8 kill game. I don't even know what I'm saying. Hope you guys enjoyed the gameplay and the settings video. But if you guys want to know the settings for my face, we are now sponsored by Dollar Shave Club. Dollar Shave Club. This razor is incredible, man. They hit me up, I guess, probably after seeing so many comments on my videos about how I look like Seth Rogen, and they wanted to help me with that. So they sent me over their executive razor. This thing is dope. It is so smooth. I pretty much quit shaving because all the old crappy razors I used to buy used to cut the crap out of my face, but so smooth, man. So smooth. Part of that is due to the Easy Shave Butter they also hooked me up with. This stuff, it doesn't foam. That's honestly the thing I like the most about it. It does not foam at all. So you can actually see your face when you're shaving. There's nothing worse than putting on those foaming shaving creams and then shaving your face and then going and getting in your car, looking in the mirror, seeing these like huge like 4-inch hairs just dripping down your chin. It is bad. It's bad. Nobody wants that. Dollar Shave Club is also an awesome company because they are reaching out to creators at a time when YouTube kind of sucks for monetization. They're reaching out to creators whose content is constantly flagged for demonetization, and they're helping them by keeping their YouTube channels active. So I hope you guys can support Dollar Shave Club in what they do as well, and they're basically giving away their trial version for free. Right now, if you go over to dollarshaveclub.com upshall. You can get the starter kit with this razor, a full month set of razors, as well as trial versions of their shave butter, their shower cream, their one wipe Charlies. Why would you need more than one wipe, man? But you can get all that for just $5 for the first month, and basically just helps you stay fresh and clean. Just want to say again, a big thanks to Dollar Shave Club, and thanks to you guys for watching and supporting the content. I really hope this settings video helps you guys out in your own gameplay. Again, it's meant to be a guide and just kind of a view of what I run, but do not feel like you need to run anything I do in my video. It's kind of like a one-to-one basis. The point is, tweak your settings, figure out exactly what works for you, and roll with that. And I'll catch you guys in the next live stream. Cheers.